Oh boy. Hello once again, YouTube. I'm back. Your boy is back. Yes, I am back and I am swag right now. Yes. It is over how many degrees? 19 degrees Celsius today. It's a bit warm, let's just say. Oh my god. Yes. I'm back reviewing stuff on the internet. It is a shock to me as much as it is to you. So, yeah. I haven't done a review in a while, so I already said that, but I'm gonna say it again. I haven't done a review in a while. You know, great comedy comes in threes. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I have sunglasses. If you've noticed, I know, shocking, right? And I haven't posted anything in a while. I believe it's been like since Christmas. I think, yeah, Christmas. Where does the time go to? I might even post this on my Instagram so everybody else can see this. You know, but yeah, I hope you've been doing well. I know most of the people who watch these videos, so you're probably doing well. So I hope to God you're doing well, because it would be horrible if you weren't doing well. Yes, I had to go through a bit of soul searching. You know, I've been posting a lot on my Instagram. You know. And I guess this is sort of a chat, but this is also a review because I need to keep my focus on one thing at a time. So I basically wanted to review something, you know, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to review a favourite album of mine. It is, well, what album to review? I'm going to keep it simple and just go for Beatles album, Revolver. Revolver by the Beatles, released June or, well, summer of 1966. That's as much as I know. Well, yes, it was the 7th studio album, released on Capitol Records. No, not Capitol Records. Well, it was released on Capitol Records, but we're talking in Polyphone, the British canon of Beatles music, you know, because the American market has too many Beatles albums, I say. Like, there's one called Meet the Beatles, there's the Beatles' second album, there's Yesterday and Today. You know, it gets a little bit confusing if we include the American albums, except for Magical Mystery Tour. So, anyway, it has a lovely cover. Now, if I had editing software, I would put this here. I think I have, but if it's not there, then I look like a fucking muppet. Anyway, so, I placed it there, so if you see it, then you see it. It is a wonderful album, you know, and we're gonna dissect it first before we go into all my rantings and ramblings about fucking anything. Anyway, so the album starts off shockingly with the song Taxman. Now, this is a song that George Harrison wrote directly at the British taxing on the wealthy, which meant that 90% of all the Beatles' earnings, like, was going directly towards each, by the way, not together as a group, no, each. They were each getting a tax of 90% of their royalties from their music and from their concerts. And it was so bad that they had to move all the money they've earned into a different country. So George Harrison being miffed about this, and also the fact that they were taking that money and directing it into the war effort like, you know, tanks, submarines, helicopters, guns, bazookas, all the things to make a war. They were funding those with that money. So George Harrison, being real miffed, asked John Lennon for some help with the lyrics, and John Lennon did help. I think he helped with all the political figures, because John Lennon was a very political man, even in 1966. I mean, this was right before he started to... This was when he took LSD, so he started to see the light of drugs, let's just say, and love, I guess. But yes, starts off with a really interesting count-in, where George is just saying, like, 1, 2, 3, 4 to himself, and then somebody just butts in and does the actual proper counting, you know. And then they go straight into chord stabs, D7 chord stabs, blues. Already it's coloured by the blues, this song is. It's full of 7th chords, dominant 7s. They really create this cool, like, superhero vibe, supervillain vibe to this guy. Like, he's like an anti-villain, you know. He's a villain that sounds cool, but you don't really want to be with. He's just a bad man, you know. And the chord stabs just really punctuate it. Ringo's drumming is great, as always. Paul McCartney's sweet bass line, which is, like, tight as fuck on this whole entire album, let me tell you. Especially on songs like, where the bass line really complements the piano playing, like, For No One. Really melodic bass playing on it. And then you got the dual lead guitar solo on And Your Bird Can Sing, which is really nice, sweet, melodic, and also kind of predicted the whole harmonized guitars of Thin Lizzy and Queen, and, you know, that whole 80s arena rock stuff. And also, let's not forget about Eagles. The Eagles had 2 lead guitar players, and Radiohead also had 2 lead guitar players. So it kind of predicted that, with, like, a rhythm guitarist keeping it all together. With John's rhythm playing on this album is probably the best it ever was during this time, especially in And Your Bird Can Sing, and also on the song and I'm Only Sleeping, because he's the only, like, harmonic instrument on the track, because for the most part George is absent, so his sort of, like, he almost, the acoustic makes you feel like it's, like, the tempo, the acoustic guitars, the sound of the acoustics, and the bass fills section sounds really like you're about to go to sleep. And also the bass fills on that song really does make you feel like it's just the overall tempo feels very dreamy, and then the backwards guitar solo almost gives you a sense of, like, yeah, that. Sorry if I'm sorry. I can hear the song in it, and it's already making me feel sleepy. And then, of course, we have the double whammy, the 2 singles from this album. Yellow Submarine and Eleanor Rigby complement each other well. Like, let's be honest. They really do complement each other well, and it's a shock that they're even on the same single. But it just goes to show you that the Beatles were really good with their singles and really good with their albums, because the album sequencing on this is great. Here, there, and everywhere with the gentle, arpeggiated guitar line, Paul's soft vocals, very, very delicate, gentle vocals, describing this love that he wants to share and have all the time with him. And it's just so beautiful that it just makes you, like, cry, you know? And, of course, we can't forget Dr. Robert. Dr. Robert is such a cool song, not because it just mentions me. It's about a guy who laced their, like, fucking coffee with and tea with LSD. So I guess the Nuremberg man is not actually like them joke. Well, I don't know. But yeah, Dr. Robert, great. And then we got some more Indian experimentation from George Harrison on the song To Love You, or I can't remember, Love You Too. But that song, it kind of goes full Indian, unlike Norwegian would previously. And, like, he did use, like, Indian instruments beforehand, like, in the background, you know, like, and they'd be, like, as a lead instrument. But this is fully Indian instruments. And you really get the feeling that he's talking about the love of, like, not of one person, but of many people. The love that we share within ourselves, you know, the love that we share with other people. And it's a very spiritual and a very harmonious song. The tabla, however you pronounce it, please correct me in the comments. I will take that L and gladly take it. I will. And also the sitars, basically, I really like his like Indian work, you know, because it really does make you feel like he's a lot wiser than his age makes you think he is. Like, you can tell from interviews that he looked a lot older than he actually was. He was only like in his 20s when he wrote these songs, and yet they hold so much wisdom beyond his years, you know? It's so exciting hearing him talking about, like, I'll love you anywhere, and all these lyrics, these insightful lyrics about life and how we treat each other, and how we can treat each other better, you know? Speaking of George, there's also I Want to Tell You, which has a very cool guitar riff and a very relatable kind of, like, thing to it. Oh, and I've forgotten about Ringo. Ringo's drumming is, like, top notch, but that's, like, on every single Beatles song. Even the shit songs, excuse the drilling, by the way, every single Beatles song he's on top form. Even if it's like something like, I don't know, Why Don't We Do It in a Road? He's always on top form, you know. And it just, you know, he never half-arsed anything. He was always on it. He was always on top form. Even when the songwriting was a bit poor, you know. Or not really of any note, you know. And yeah. Speaking of Ringo, yeah, Yellow Submarine. I just glanced over Yellow Submarine and Eleanor Rigby. That's because I discussed them as a single kind of thing, you know. But yes, Yellow Submarine. What a charming song. Lennon's like vocal ad-libs really add to the atmosphere of it. But the acoustic guitar just. The fun, simple acoustic chords, they just really just drive it in. And Ringo's just such a charismatic, charming guy that it's like, you just can't help but, like, smile with him, even though he's not the strongest of singers. And some people don't like this song. I don't understand. Maybe they have a bias against fun, I guess. No offense, obviously. Because I don't think there's a single Ringo song that I think I hate, really. I like most of his songs. Even like something like What Goes On. What Goes On, I can't hate it. Because most of his songs are fun to listen to. I think he's a fun-loving guy, you know? I don't get the hate for him. Outside of the fact that he is... Okay, let's not talk about anything else outside of the Beatles right now. Okay. So, and yeah, that it's a fun song, fun sing-along song, got an anthemic chorus. We all live... Oh, shit. Can't sing because I might get copyright striked. Anyway, yeah, it's just fun, you know. It paints a picture. It could be about the world, but we are in the sea of green. The sky is blue and the sea is green, and we live beneath the waves in our yellow submarine. See, it's just so memorable, and also the other sound effects in it, the laughing people, the people like, and then you got the band playing as well, and just people tapping. There's even Mick Jagger and Marianne Faithfull in it, believe it or not. They were singing in the chorus. So yeah, but then we go to Eleanor Rigby, which is the second song off the album. One of the saddest songs ever written. It's like modern day classical music. Like, people like shun classical music and say, oh, it's not the same as like the Beatles. And then I say to them, did you know the Beatles wrote a classical song and it's called Eleanor Rigby? Because Eleanor Rigby truly is a classical piece with these orchestral arrangements inspired by Psycho, of course. And it just paints this picture with like the music of a sad, lonely people who will die without people remembering them, and it's the complete opposite to as I said before, to Yellow Submarine. But it works because it showcases the human condition, because the human condition isn't always the same. We're not always the same from day to day, and that's the beauty of the Beatles. They showed us that we don't have to always be happy, but we don't always have to be sad. We can be anything we want to be. That's the fun. That's the fun of the Beatles. It's like just cool, you know? And of course we get to the granddaddy, which is She Said. The guitar playing from George Harrison, let me hand it to him, is just cool. The bends, it just sweet fills. It goes na 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 na, you know, and then John Lennon's superb rhythm playing. It's just tight as fuck, and he goes into a key change, and the song goes and does a bit of foreshadowing to the future of the Beatles, where he sings about when he was a boy, everything was fine, everything was right in his life. And it adds an emotional layer to this, which also For No One does as well, because For No One, outside of being tasty with the bass line and having a cool piano part, talks of Paul McCartney's failing relationship with Jane Asher. And, you know, it just kind of just is sad, but it's not completely one-sided in his favour, though. He knows that there's a part of Jane that is crying, you know, but he believes those tears are not real. It's sort of sad, you know, the cycle of, like, just not believing somebody at all, yeah. Then, of course, you have Tomorrow Never Knows, which is the final track off the album, and it's the most psychedelic track off it. You got backwards guitar solo, you got so many sound effects, you got imposed chords. For the most part, it's one chord sequence. these lyrics about taking LSD. There is no doubt about it, and the Beatles themselves has said there is no doubt about it. This song is about LSD. Shine on, man. Okay. Then you got to Get You Into My Life, a nice, fun, upbeat Motown song, which is also about weed. Paul's Ode to Weed. Ode to Weed. So yeah. But he's got such a bright, optimistic voice, you know. Such a far cry from Lennon's bitterness, you know. Bitter lyrics about love. But Paul shines with a big, happy smile on his face, you know. Just smiling in the face of it all. Like that. He's just smiling. And Lennon, well, he's singing about LSD. Paul's singing about weed. I mean, that's enough. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's enough for you to tell the difference between the two, you know. And also, another song I've forgotten to mention, Good Day Sunshine. It's a simple song, not much to it. There's a little sweet piano solo. And also, let's not forget about the trumpet solo on No One, which Paul, there's an anecdote that Paul said, I want you to get that high note at the end. And the trumpet player was like, fuck no, I'm not getting it. But Paul said, if you don't get it, I'm not including you on the track. So, he got it in the end anyway, so, I mean, yeah. And I would give this album a 9.5 out of 10. I would say Yellow Submarine and, like, Good Day Sunshine are kind of letting the side down, you know. I Want to Tell You kind of meanders in a bit, but those are just like a few flaws. They're not breaking my enjoyment. For the most part, this is a very experimental, especially for the time, album that was released. With singles like Rain and Paperback Writer backing the album up, which are two classic songs. One's about basically life and how we talk about how the grass is greener on the other side all the time, every time, but we forget to enjoy the moment. And also, another one is about a guy trying to get his book published by this company, you know? So, yeah. It is just a phenomenal album, and it was the last one made whilst the Beatles were on tour, because they had another album coming up that won't be done and they would stop touring after this album, which is not unfortunate because it kind of made sure that they would go fully in the experimental direction. Remove the thriller, and we would get Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. But this album is also good. It's just I don't consider this a 10. And I'm going to leave it up to you whether or not I consider Sgt. Pepper a 10 out of 10. Now, with that out of the way, with that whole thing out of the way, I want to just discuss some stuff. Actually, no, I think we are at the 25-minute mark. I've been talking for way too long at this point. I've written this all down, by the way, so yeah. And I'll see you all in the next one. Yeah! Do, 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 do.